Qxir.
The year is one from the future. I am strapped down to a gurney in the execution chamber. I have been condemned to die by lethal injection, and all for a crime I didn't even make any money from. The executioners swab my arm with alcohol, then insert the IV. A sequence of drugs passes through them and into my system. Pentobarbital, pancuronium bromide, potassium chloride. However, being Irish, the alcohol swabbed on my arm provides me extraordinary vitality, and I survive the injection. So what do they do now? What happens when a person is still alive after the execution? Do they just let you go? Oh hell no, my ass is grass. Death penalties are generally fairly explicit in mentioning you must be dead by the end of the proceedings, so whether by electric chair, firing squad, or lethal injection, if they didn't get you the first time, they're just gonna try again. It's the only prison sentence they make sure has a 100% rehabilitation rate. They guarantee you won't reoffend after this one. This has happened many times before too. Electric chair put inmate in a state of excruciating agony instead of killing them. Oops, well, not to worry, just blast them again. But what if your executioners don't know you've survived? Well, it turns out that's happened before too. Wenceslao Moguel was born in Mexico around 1890. As a young man, he joined the rebel forces during the Mexican Revolution. His unit was poorly armed and inexperienced, and they were captured in 1915. Branded traitors, they were sentenced to death without trial. And so they were lined up against a wall. The firing squad consisted of 8 soldiers and 1 officer who would deliver the coup de grâce after the soldiers had fired to ensure death. One by one the rebels were executed until it was Moguel's turn. The firing squad opened fire, hitting Moguel in the head and body. As he lay on the ground, the officer approached with his revolver and shot him point blank in the head. In total, Wenceslao Moguel had been shot 9 times. With another battle penciled into their schedules, the soldiers left the bodies where they lay. Unbeknownst to them, Moguel was still alive. He pretended to be dead and waited for his executioners to piss off. He had just taken a hell of a lot of bullets, way more than the recommended daily intake, and was in a lot of pain. Nevertheless, he arose from the bodies and staggered off to find help. Finding a church several blocks away, he stumbled in and found someone to help him. The bullets were pulled out and the wounds stitched up, leaving Moguel permanently disfigured, but otherwise healthy. Despite being shot in the head numerous times, he didn't suffer any brain damage. He went into hiding until the revolution ended and it was safe for him to be seen. After this, he just continued on with his normal life, although sometimes his appearance would prompt questions, which Moguel obliged with his story of surviving an execution. In 1930, he moved to the United States, where the questions continued, as did the telling of the story. Obviously, it's an incredible story, and one can only imagine the impact it had on the type of people who ask others why they're so disfigured. The story spread, and eventually it made its way into the ears of Robert L. Ripley, founder of Ripley's Believe It or Not. Ripley featured Moguel and his story on his radio show, which widely popularised the legend of El Fusilado, the one who was shot. Under this nickname, Moguel toured around America, allowing fans of the radio story to see his wounds with their own eyes, making the unbelievable believable. He eventually returned to Mexico, where he died in 1975. It's unknown what his exact age was, but he was in his 70s or 80s, vastly outperforming the life expectancy of most execution victims. Rest in peace, Wenceslao Moguel, El Fusilado. Your legend has inspired me to start microdosing the drugs they use for lethal injection, so that I can build up a tolerance and become immune to execution. As I stated in the intro, this won't stop the executioners, so I'll just have to do the same with electricity and also bullets. I'm hoping there's an unwritten loophole in the death penalty when they just run out of options. You may be asking, Qxir, why do you seem so convinced you're going to receive the death penalty at some stage in the future? To which I respond, this is a pre-recorded video. You don't ask questions. That's not how this works. You just sit and watch. If you have enjoyed this session of sitting, watching, and not asking questions of non-interactive media, please do not consider subscribing and instead consider, if I were to happen to see another video made by this guy, would that be the worst thing to happen in my life? The answer is no. You've already been born. So subscribe. Stand me straight against the nearest wall. Line up your bravest soldiers, oh. 10 good shots, I'll take them all. They call me El Fusilado.